Cancel.
Schweezy.
Let's just jump into it.
This is from church leaders. We're not going to have the best sources, but I did fact check them. Okay. Like I did actually, some of these I did fact check. This first one I fact checked. I'll get to the other one when I get to it. Why don't, yeah, never mind. Okay. Undeniably a crisis. IHOP KC posts update on investigation into allegations against Mike Bickle.
This is the type of guy you get.
The executive leadership team, ELT, of International House of Prayer of Kansas City, IHOP KC, in Kansas City, Missouri, has defended its decision to use a law firm to conduct the independent investigation into its founder, Mike Bickle. Leaders also emphasize that they have not cleared Bickle of the allegations against him and acknowledge that the ministry is dealing with a crisis. IHOP KC has contacted and is in communications with multiple third parties about conducting an independent examination of the allegations presented by the complaint group, as well as a review of IHOP KC's report on initial findings and the ELT in an update on Wednesday, November 22nd. These third parties include national Christian leaders, journalists, and investigative firms, and were involved in #MeToo and investigated the SBC and RZIM. There has also been unfounded suspicion and sowed fear upon IHOP KC's choice to utilize law firms to conduct the initial examinations of the allegations. The ELT continued, however, law firms are routinely involved in the investigation of sexual abuse in accordance with due process, a fundamental part of the justice system and a basic right enshrined in the U.S. Constitution. IHOP KC is a ministry that aims to spread the gospel in society with a reliance on 24/7 prayer and worship. On October 28, 3 former ministry leaders published allegations that ministry founder Mike Bickle was guilty of sexual and spiritual abuse. Bickle subsequently stepped away from leadership. In a statement on October 29th, IHOP KC said, "Our leadership team takes these allegations very seriously. We are engaging with outside parties to assess and arbitrate these allegations." On November 5th, the IHOP KC ELT announced that Bickle would be taking an indefinite leave of absence and that the ministry had hired national law firm Stinson LLP to investigate the allegations against him. A number of people pushed back against that decision, with some expressing concern that the law firm would prioritize protecting IHOP KC over defending survivors. A petition on change.org that was started by IHOP KC survivors urged IHOP KC to hire guideposts or GRACE, Godly Response to Abuse in the Christian Environment, to conduct a true third-party investigation into the sexual abuse allegations and the systemic environment of IHOP KC. Online, a clip circulated on February 28th, interview with Reverend Dr. Esau McCauley and attorney survivor advocate Rachel Denhollander, in which Denhollander explained why she believes it is best to avoid law firms when evaluating sexual abuse allegations in Christian organizations. One of the reasons Denhollander gave was that it is very difficult for an attorney to switch out of liability mode into transparency and truth mode. Instead, she recommended ethics and compliance firms. Okay. So, yeah, if you don't know, ELT, or that's short for, which I have a complete folder on my computer right now called just ELT Updates, Executive Leadership Team, which you are a church, not a business. Though there are some similarities in between churches and businesses, from what it sounds like, you are running things more like a business. And I think at the end of the day, IHOP Kansas City is running itself as a business. And I think you should see how they're doing things just like a business. What would happen, just think about, like, if those of you who work in just like a standard office type job, what would happen in regard, there's a couple things that would happen and say your boss, the CEO or a manager or some fucking bullshit title, you give, people give other people jobs, so it's like, we're gonna waste someone who's not important gets a job title. I don't know. It's a friend. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just thinking about this. Yeah, if it happened in your office, what would happen? It all feels like what happens when sexual assault happens at just a standard office. So either it depends on, obviously. So say, a woman comes forward with saying a guy assaulted her. If it's just some low-level employee, you're like, go fuck yourself, get out. the CEO or like the boss of everyone, human resources job is to protect that person. And, just like the Nazis doing what you were told. So like that's human resources. Their job is to protect that. And even though they're at a point though, and at least their internal investigation, when someone says internal investigation is like, it's like, okay, it's you versus them. What side are we going to take? And then it's like, oh, we're going to take their fault. And I'm like, yeah, we've also noticed your work performance has been getting pretty bad. Yeah. Oh, all of a sudden the work performance is bad. Go fuck yourself. So with the ELT updates, I've been saying basically what their initial investigation showed was that, hey, Mike Bickle did sexually assault those women. However, we don't have any proof, and somehow we don't have any, all of a sudden there's no proof. And you could like I worked at a job and it was like a credit card company. I was doing customer service and I started noticing a lot of fraud on a lot of people calling it about fraud. And so the more I look into it, the sketchier things I find, and, they're all of a sudden trying to like punish me for noticing things I like, and I'm like telling them what's going on. You're like, we don't have any proof of that. And then I started sending them proof, and all of a sudden I didn't have a job anymore, stuff like that. So they're reading as just very sketchy, horrible people. Like this is the shit that IHOP Kansas City is just known for. Like they're just known like just having shitty leadership, and they'll do whatever they need to do to like gain power, to gain this authority over you. Like this is what the leadership team at IHOP Kansas City is all about. Like they're just all about being able to control someone and take advantage of people. And it's pretty fucking gross. And so basically what their update was like, we don't have any proof. And in regards to this, I'm thinking about this more of like a work lawsuit or whatever. So what has to happen, if you like to say you have like a legal situation with like somewhere you worked or whatever. So say I listen to a lot of Ryan, the TikTok law attorney guy, Ryan the attorney, I think. He talks about how in typical like, hey, I'm going to sue my former employer or bring up a lawsuit against a former employer. When it comes to that, it's not just like he said, she said stuff. Like that's other criminal law. Like when it comes to like a workplace issue, all that happens is like you have to have proof, and that's why it's always suggested that if you work somewhere like that and you're like, these people are kind of being really sketchy about things, make sure you have everything in writing. Basically if they put you in a meeting to like punish you and you say that's not right, send HR, send the managers all an email, and make sure you CC like an email they can't like delete later at the same time, so you have all that proof. And I always say like, hey, so after I complained about sexual harassment in the workplace, a couple weeks later, I had a meeting about my poor work performance, which I do believe is related to, the sexual harassment thing, and I believe that. So you write that down, you send it out, and make sure they know. So the more they try to punish you, the worse it looks, And so at the end of the day, it's basically, again, like sexual, people aren't fucking writing down their sexual assaults. Like Mike Bickle is not going to be like, dear diary, today I forced myself on this woman. She didn't like it, but I did. Like he's not fucking writing that down in his fucking diary. So that's basically what their that's like all their investigation was. Ending it off, I want to talk about this fucking how they ended this, how this article was ended. Okay, let's read this again. After a change.org petition, which, like I said, petitions don't do fucking shit. So you're wasting your time. You're like, I'm going to sign a petition to get you to stop that. I'm like, go ahead and fucking do something to get them to stop it. Don't fucking write a petition. Also, according to me, don't hurt people. So they wanted to stay out from actual law firms that, do third-party investigations on sexual abuse in churches, which, in my mind, for those of you who are Christian listening to this, I just want to let you know, if you're new, I think you should be able to go to church and not get sexually abused. And so that's my goal with looking at all this shit. So now we're looking at this. like about why they don't do third party investigation, why they don't like it. Was it very difficult for an attorney to switch out of liability mode into transparency and truth mode? Transparency and truth mode is what you hire a lawyer for. A lot of times you'll hire a lawyer and basically they'll say shit you do not want to hear, but their goal is to do the best job they can possibly do. So if you're just like, for an attorney, switching out of liability mode into transparency and truth mode, that's what they're looking at. And the fact that you're like, we're not going to hire this person because we don't want them to switch out of liability. We want them to, they're going to switch into transparency and truth mode. That's why we don't want to hire them. Like, that means you're hiding something, okay? That means you're hiding something, and that makes you worse than if you just let a third party investigate. And that's what the problem with IHOP Kansas City is because they're unwilling to want third parties investigating. They're wanting to hide everything. They're wanting to close it shut. They want this sexual abuse allegations against Mike Bickle. They want this whole Mike Bickle mess to just go away. That's what I've been looking at every time I just hop on the IHOP Kansas City Facebook page. All I'm seeing is like, pray for us. We are struggling. We are in a time of struggle, And I'm like, you're not. You're in a time of accountability, okay? You're in a time of accountability and to do the right thing. And for you to do the right thing means also following the goddamn book you follow, the one that you believe is written literally and is meant to be interpreted literally, even though you're also reading a translation of it. A bad one, also with that. So, yeah, you're making up excuses on why you don't want to. You're worried about an attorney. Yeah, you're worried about an attorney fucking roasting you to shit because that's what you fucking deserve. So, yeah, like you're getting IHOP Kansas City is getting everything they fucking deserve, and it's just like this whole thing just shows how fucking terrible they are. Like just how terrible. They're trying to stay on both sides. They're trying to stay on the side of Mike Bickle was innocent until proven guilty, but also public opinion says we shouldn't have him, so we got rid of him. But like, can you guys just like forget about it? I know he was like a terrible guy. He lied to you. He made up a bunch of shit. But like, can you guys just get fucking over it? We're trying to make some money here, okay? Shut the fuck up.
Thank you for watching this clip. Watch it again or watch something